What's up, the Trail fam? Right now I'm in Vancouver, and for today we're going to Happy Lamb. This is a Mongolian hot pot restaurant. I've never been to one before, so I have no idea what to expect.
DJ Fretero, me pones a mil.
Happy Lamb was amazing. That was my first time ever going to a hot pot restaurant, and I will say I am so glad I went with somebody who knew what they were doing, because there's a lot of like little things that you have to do, and techniques and tricks and tips that I basically learned while being there. So obviously on this kind of post recap, I want to talk about the food itself, but then obviously kind of the way things work there. It was super unique and interesting. So first off, the food was incredible, unbelievable. I cannot suggest enough going. It was a really, really unique experience, not just in terms of the amazing food, but actually cooking it, preparing it, kind of the process and almost the journey of actually preparing and making the food. So much fun. So when you initially get there, they basically give you a huge piece of paper and you first select your pot. Now, there's a bunch of different ones. They mainly have, like a regular pot, a spicy pot, or kind of a half and half. We went with the half and half. I think I would suggest doing that because some things I want to try just normal. Other things I want to try spicy. For me, I love spicy food. So it's kind of cool to do both. I do half and half. And then on this sheet, you basically select all the different things that you want. Everything's all you can eat, so you can pick all of them if you want. One thing I will say, though, is don't be that guy or that girl who orders too much food and then you can't finish it and you go overboard, right? Because as you can see on the piece of paper, there is so many different options from different types of meats and fish and vegetables and everything. There's so much stuff you can order. So basically mark the different things that you want and basically you leave it there. Now, while you're waiting in terms of like the hot pot and in addition to for like the raw meats and fish and the vegetables and everything that come to your table, you then go to the sauce bar. And what's really cool about the sauce bar, and actually the entire establishment, is that there are some structured rules of how you do everything. But in addition, there's also a lot of flexibility. So for example, with the sauce bar, for example, you get there and there's a bunch of different bowls, right? So you can combine all these different sauces in one if you want. That's what I did. Or you can do it in separate. So let's say if you're like, you know what? I just want one sauce bowl for soy sauce, and I want one just for garlic or whatever. Or you do a mix and mash and just put everything together. I think that's what makes it fun and interesting. So it's kind of cool to try all these unique combinations. So once your hot pot comes and then your raw materials come, you then start cooking it yourself. As you saw from the footage, you cook everything yourself. There's like a mini stove in the middle of every table. You can just like the heat and all that kind of stuff, all these different settings. And one thing I will say, which makes sense, but it's something just to be aware of, is some foods take a lot longer to cook. Other ones are a little bit shorter. So it's kind of fun and interesting seeing the differences, right? I remember with the lamb, for example, you could dip it in there and probably be done within 5 or 10 seconds when, the stove was on. Other foods, like the dumplings, I remember, took maybe a few minutes or a little bit longer, right? So it was really big to kind of see and test out different foods and different almost speeds of cooking, right? And I tried everything. I tried as much as I could. As you saw from the footage, there were so many different things to try. I was stuffed afterwards, right? So you can do different passes where, again, it's all you can eat. So you can do one piece of paper first. Then they'll come back and say, okay, do you want anything else? We can give you another sheet of paper. You then mark more what you want. For me, I was good after one because we did get a decent amount of food. And everything I tried was unbelievable. So I cannot suggest enough check out Happy Lamb. It was such a cool experience, again, cooking the food, trying all these different sauces, trying all these different foods, seeing the different speeds and all this kind of stuff, kind of messing around and experimenting with a lot of different flavors, tastes, and obviously all this cultural food from all over the world. So it was an amazing spot. There was so much fun and the food was incredible.